in the Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to our Week 16 Fantasy Football segment. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with Jay Dash and Johnny Parlay. We're going to talk some quarterbacks, tight ends, and defenses for you. I know a lot of leagues are in their championship game or maybe the week right before their championship game, so this is vital information.
Johnny Parlay's in his championship game.
Please believe.
This is back-to-back years, and I need redemption because last year I came out on bottom.
Bottom is never a good place for a man.
My Tier 1 quarterbacks, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning. 4 of these guys didn't really have good weeks last week. Luck didn't play that well for you, I know.
Terrible, actually. He still ended up putting up points. Somehow that works out.
Well, that just means he's going to put up big points this week because you know he's not going back-to-back weeks without fantasy points.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, Drew Brees had 3 touchdowns, but I expect all these guys to have a bounce-back week.
Believe it.
Tier 2, Matt Ryan and Russell Wilson.
Matt Ryan above Ben Roethlisberger, huh?
Yeah, at New Orleans. Big Ben, he's in Tier 3, but he has a tough matchup this week, even though it is at home. Which Tier 3, Matt Stafford, Tony Romo, and Big Ben?
That's pretty good. Other than Tony Romo, but mostly because I hate him, but he does put up good points. Going up against the Colts, you know, Luck's going to be putting up mad points and mad yards through the air.
Let's hope.
Indy gives up the 12th fewest points to fantasy quarterbacks. Romo's had 3+ TDs in 4 of his last 5 games, even though he hasn't thrown for a lot of yards. I think maybe 275 might be the most in any game during that span.
That game's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, but he's throwing a ton of touchdown passes. I think he's going to have a big week. And Matt Stafford, he just had 390 yards and 2 touchdowns against Chicago in Week 13. They're the worst defense against the pass. There's no reason not to play him this week. Tier 4, Mark Sanchez, Phillip Rivers, and Teddy Bridgewater.
But fumble. I can't believe he's still up in number 4. That's terrible, man.
Yeah, he's tailed off the past 2 games, but this is a great matchup, man. We've said it over and over again this year. Washington cannot stop the pass. They're good at stopping the run, but not the pass. And this is a perfect matchup for whoever is quarterback in Philadelphia's offense.
I like Teddy Bridgewater this week, too. He's going up against Miami. They give up the 8th fewest points to fantasy quarterbacks, but he's had over 300 yards passing 2 straight weeks, including a 315 yards at Detroit last week, and he has 7 touchdowns over his last 4 games. It seems like Bridgewater's finally starting to figure it out a little bit.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's my sleeper of the week for sure. We said it in our Week 15 wrap-up, and I'm sticking with it.
Stick with it.
Tier 5, Cam Newton, who was questionable, Ryan Tannehill, Andy Dalton, and RG3.
If Newton doesn't play, do you put Derek Anderson in Tier 5?
You know,
just a quick question.
I was thinking about that when I was making this, and I think so. I'd play Derek Anderson right there. He's looked pretty good this season.
Yeah, I think he's thrown the ball just as well as Cam has. Cam obviously has more physical attributes, but if he has those 2 fractures in his back, he's probably not going to run the ball very much. Sorry.
So did we name the quarterback you're going up against yet?
Peyton. Tier
Peyton
1
Manning. Oh, jeez.
2 Tier 1.
Tier 1 duel.
That's at Cincinnati, though. Cincinnati has a good pass defense, so there's a good chance Luck will outscore him.
Well, maybe on the first drive, Peyton will try to throw another block. That'd be nice.
I'm pretty sure Manning only has 1 touchdown pass over his last 2 games, too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He's been slowing down.
He's getting a little old.
Too much Papa John's.
Speaking of Manning, Tier 6, Eli Manning, Joe Flacco, Alex Smith, and Cal Orton.
Parlay, you think Alex Smith has any chance at doing anything against his defense?
He's going to manage the game. I mean, he's been managing games all year, and it's been working out. I don't know about if he's a fantasy guy for this week. I think he'll hang tough against the Steelers. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I don't see many 10-plus yard receptions. I think he's going to be all small dump-offs.
You know, he still doesn't have a touchdown pass to his wide receiver yet this year. Any wide receiver on his team.
Who would throw to a wide receiver?
I don't know.
Well, listen, he's coming off his 2 best games. He has 590 yards and 3 TDs over that span. He has 7 touchdowns over his past 4 games. And we've seen personally this Steelers defense can get burnt on the pass.
Hopefully not by Alex Smith, though, because he's kind of garbage.
Tier 7, Sean Hill, Josh McCown, Johnny Manziel, and Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick's been a big disappointment. I love to laugh at Johnny Manziel because he's garbage. But I want to talk a little bit about Sean Hill. going up against the Giants, who give up mad fantasy points to quarterbacks. I think they give up the 6th most. Hill has no more than 229 yards in any of his 5 games and failed to find the end zone last week, but this is a great matchup to get a little bit of momentum going for the last couple games. And the Rams, I don't know if they have playoff chances at all, but they're playing for pride right now, and I think they may still be able to get a winning record or at least 500. So if Hill can turn it on these next couple weeks and get a couple victories, they at least get that moral victory.
Johnny Football, I'm not going to put him any higher than this, but I do expect him to play a little bit better than he played last week. He only had 80 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 picks. That was horrendous. I don't think it gets any worse than that.
That's my pick of the week. He'll play better than last week. That's not going to be hard to...
Bleep him. I think he's just like that Snickers commercial where he's in that exercise room and he's exercising with them old ladies, all them cougars. He's out there. That's definitely who he is. He ain't a football player. He's garbage.
Tier 8. Jimmy Clausen, Case Keenum, Derek Carr, Ryan Lindley, and Geno Smith.
Now that is a group right there, man.
I mean,
can you say NFL garbage any better than that tier right there?
we should if you're playing in the Super Bowl of your fantasy league this week, most likely it's that or the week before. This will be the semifinals or
Possibly
whatever
next
call
week,
it.
too. I've seen 17.
There's no way these guys are even on your roster.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? What if... I'm surprised you don't like Jimmy Clausen this week just for the fact that it's close to Christmas and you were going to call him Santa Clausen, I thought.
Oh, man, that's a good one. I missed it. Jimmy Santa Clausen. Well, you know what? He's going up against Detroit. They give up the 5th fewest fantasy points, but it's getting close to Christmas time, folks, and we all know who steps up. Everybody who loves St. Nick. Kyle Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, is going to have a big game. You'll hear about that in a couple minutes. And Jimmy Santa Clausen. I love it.
Santa Clausen coming to town.
Please believe.
Speaking of tight ends, let's move on.
Santa Clausen coming to town. All right, well, let's talk about some tight ends. We got the Tier 1 Elite. Jimmy Graham versus Atlanta. Rob Gronkowski at the Jets, Greg Olsen versus Cleveland, and Julius Thomas at Cincinnati. Is Thomas playing yet?
Yeah, he is playing.
Okay.
ESPN and Yahoo had him ranked a little lower, but I'm telling you, if you have Julius Thomas, how are you not going to play him if you're still in your fantasy league?
You got to play him.
How are we feeling about Greg Olsen? Because I'm going up against him, and I don't see my tight end anywhere in Tier 1. So how's Olsen going to perform?
I believe Olsen is going to have a huge week. He's been killing it recently. He's had over 20 points in the past 2 weeks, and he's getting a ton of targets. I think Greg Olsen might be beating your tight end, who is here in Tier 2. Antonio Gates, correct?
That's right. He came up big for me last week. He was sort of churning. It was pretty slow going for him. He had about 4 to 5 points through the first half, and then through the third quarter he picked up a couple more. But then fourth, he had a touchdown, and that blew me through the roof. Helped me take down Justin False.
Martellus Bennett is in Tier 2 here as well. But Antonio Gates, it's all up to Phillip Rivers, man. Rivers has been playing like crap over the past month or so. But if he can get back on track, Antonio Gates can still get it done.
I like
obviously.
Gates here. No Patrick Willis, no Navarro Bowman. That's a soft middle of the defense for San Francisco. They have nothing to play for, maybe pride, but they hate Jim Harbaugh, so they just want him out of there. That whole organization's in kind of like a weird flux situation right now where all the talent's there, they're just not getting done. Ray McDonald just got released because he's raping people now. I just can't see them coming out and playing well. So I think this is an easy way for Rivers to get back on track, and then Gates gets back on track and has a big game for Mr. Parlay.
Nice. Rivers and Gates are like peanut butter and jelly.
Tier 3.
Chunky or creamy?
Creamy, baby.
Kobe Fleener, Travis Kelce, Dwayne Allen, and Jason Witten. I have 2 Colts in my Tier 3 here. They both
Easy would not approve.
Yes, he would not approve, but they have a great matchup at Dallas. They've been one of the worst teams against tight ends all season long. Yeah, the Colts didn't look good last week offensively, but I expect a big bounce back week the whole way around the offense, including Fleener and Allen. Allen did score a TD last week, but he only had 2 catches for 16 yards, so it wasn't a big game for him.
Tier 4, Jermaine Gresham, Jordan Reed, Michael Rivera, and Charles Clay.
Every time I see Charles Clay, I want to call him Cassius.
I think Kyle Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, should switch places with Clay.
Now, what would be... I sort of hope Charles Clay would be a little bit deeper because I got him on my bench, and if he outperforms Gates, it's gonna be stuff going across the room at the parlay house.
I mean, it's always a possibility, but he goes up against Minnesota, and they're very good against fantasy tight ends. He was okay last week. He had 6 catches for 59 yards, but he still isn't 100%. And Tannehill, though he did look better last week, he's been playing like crap over the past month, so I would definitely play Gates over Clay.
What about Gresham going against Denver? They gave up the 3rd most points to tight ends. He was inactive last week, but he does have 3 touchdowns over his last 4 games played. But he doesn't have a lot of yards receiving in those games. He has no more than 36 receiving yards in any of his last 7. So the touchdowns are there, but who's that? Andy Dalton, Mr. Red-Headed Freak Show. He's having a down end of this season, so it might stop Gresham from having a lot of yards and a lot of catches, but it looks like them red zone targets will be there.
Yeah, I don't like Gresham. I don't like that start. I just think that game's going to surprise everyone and be a very defensive game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of progress made up and down the field.
You're hoping so, right?
Yeah, always. But that's what I'm just getting that vibe. It's going to be a big playoff implications in that game, and defenses love to prove their point when it comes around that time.
Tier 5, Kyle Rudolph, who is questionable, Larry Donnell, Jordan Cameron, and Jared Cook.
Rudolph will play. He's the man. He can fly, and he's got a red nose.
He has the toughest matchup of all this week, though. At Miami, they let up the fewest of fantasy tight ends. He did have his first productive game last week. He went 7 catches, 69 yards. And the Minnesota offense has looked good over the past month. So he could be a good play, but his health isn't looking good right now.
I see you got Heath down in tier 6, and I know you're not big on him like I am, but I like him better than Jordan Cameron that you got up here in 5. Cameron has way more potential and probably more talent right now as far as pass catching. I just don't think he has the stability at the quarterback position to warrant a better... I mean, even with Hoyer playing, I hate Manziel. I think anybody who listens to the show knows I think he's garbage. But you got to have a quarterback to be able to get you the ball if you're a tight end or a wide receiver. So I think he should be down a little further just on that note.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but Cameron is one player who can blow up for 25 points, and you don't want to miss out on that, even though you're probably going to, because not many people are going to be playing Cameron. Heath Miller, he's been playing consistent recently. We're talking about tier 6 here, and Miller's not the type of player to blow up, though.
No. He's not going to have a huge game, but he's going to give you a more consistent game, and he has a better chance of getting a touchdown than Cameron because Ben can actually throw the football.
He's not too frequently an end zone target either.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah, I'd go with Cameron over Miller still, unless you know you need just 10 points or something, then maybe Miller is the better play.
Right.
But the rest of tier 6 here, Owen Daniels and Scott Chandler. Anything?
Nah,
you ain't in the playoffs if you got these guys.
Tier 7, Zach Ertz, Tim Wright, Vernon Davis. Everyone hates Vernon Davis around here. He's been garbage all season. 2 targets last week, no catches. His worst game of the season.
He's just terrible. I don't know what happened to him. He's just terrible.
It's time to start thinking about, if you're in one of those keeper leagues, what to do, I think, for next season. Now, a guy like Vernon Davis, historically pretty good fantasy producer. Next year's coming. What do you do?
Yeah, you make a good point real quick, Johnny Parlay. I seen Matthew Berry release Jay Cutler and sign Tim Tebow because there's always that, people who think Tebow is going to come back and play and be good. So I think that's kind of a move he was making. It's the end of the year. Cutler's not going to play. It's keeper league material right there.
Well,
I think Tebow's garbage.
Yeah,
fans.
that's
don't
ridiculous move.
I'm not saying that was a good move. I'm just saying it was that same thought process in mind.
But back to Vernon Davis, there isn't many good tight ends out there. If you're in a keeper league, half the teams aren't even going to be able to keep a good tight end anyways. Vernon Davis does have the big potential still, even though he's not getting it done. It's not just Vernon Davis's fault. Colin Kaepernick is horrible. The receivers out there aren't very good. The whole offense looks bad this season. I would hold on to Vernon Davis in a keeper league.
Yeah, the Niners are going to be a different team next year with a different coach, so he definitely has the opportunity to bounce back, but don't play him this week. Let's move on to some defenses.
I have the Giants at St. Louis, Carolina versus Cleveland. Cleveland at Carolina,
Ooh, dual defense.
San Diego at San Francisco, and Minnesota at Miami for my 5 sleeper defenses this week.
You're loving on Minnesota. Teddy Bridgewater, Minnesota defense, Cal Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Oh, wait, that was me.
Well, listen, they didn't accumulate many stats against Detroit last week, but they did hold them to just 16 points, and they had 7 sacks, 3 turnovers, and 3 TDs over the previous 2 games. Tannehill looked a little better last week, but he's been playing like crap mostly, like I said earlier. I like Minnesota's defense again.
Tannehill is crap.
But look at this. New York Giants, 22 sacks over their past 3 games.
22. With the Steelers have 24 all year, right?
Yeah. Well, the Giants weren't getting any sacks earlier in the year either, and 22 in 3 games is a ridiculous number to me.
That's
almost a mistype, I would think, but
That's
good Lord.
game-changing defense. That's what that is, parlay.
Yeah, well, I don't see either of the defenses participating in my fantasy Super Bowl up here, but I like my pick. I'm going.
Well, those are just sleepers. Who's your?
Oh, these are just sleepers. I got Buffalo at
See,
Oakland.
they're owned by too many teams. I don't
Buffalo
even
all
mention.
over it. I hear what you guys are doing here, and then my opponent, J Mad Money Payne, he's got New England going up against the Jets. So that's going to be pretty even, I think, which is I'm just looking to cancel him out in a lot of positions because he's been going crazy all year. He got the points total bonus for the year. He's got Peyton.
He's killing it.
He's just,
Greg Olsen
just
isn't
killing
no
it. He's got
slouch
Greg
either.
Olsen. It ain't no joke. So I'm just looking to break even with him. But hopefully Buffalo can maybe steal me 3, maybe go up 3 on him in the defense category versus Oakland.
Well, real quick, parlay, tell the fans your starting lineup.
All right, I got A-Luck, Charles Johnson, Julian Edelman, DeMarco Murray, who I'm still got in at the moment, Joik Bell, Antonio Gates, Golden Tate, Cody Parkey, my kicker, and Buffalo.
Buffalo.
That's right, I'm going up against Manning, Beckham Jr.,
Ooh.
Antonio Brown, Matt Forte,
Oh.
Mark Ingram, Greg Olsen, Josh Gordon, Gostkowski, and New England. He's a terror.
That's brutal.
Yeah, you had a good run, man.
It's called upset, baby. I'm going to be like the Jets and whatever that was, Super Bowl 10 or whatever. I might just guarantee victory.
You better hope Crosby gave somebody on his team the mumps.
Well, I mean, hey, Beckham Jr. is bound to cool off. He sort of turned into a madman. That's going to cool down.
I don't know about
A.
that.
Brown's always good for 20. Forte, that team's in disarray. He might not even play. They should just sit him down, I think.
Save him for next year.
Tight ends can always slouch, and Josh Gordon, I don't know about that. I might put him down.
Johnny football's garbage, so you might be all right there.
But I got on my bench, I got Trey Mason, who I'm hearing through the grapevine is going to have a big game.
I have him ranked pretty
But
high.
I don't know. Take him. I'd rather just hope that Murray plays. You can't not start Murray. You rode him all year. He's been the MVP of the team. Got to go Murray.
Well, thanks, fans, for listening. Thank you guys for sitting here with me. You guys can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Throw us any questions you got about fantasy. If you need that last-minute sleeper to help you win your championship, you can like us on Facebook and subscribe to that YouTube channel.
Tweet us and tweet me good luck. This parlay needs luck, baby.
He's going to need some
Or
luck.
for your computer hackers out there, go hack my opponent's lineup and put in Johnny Manziel.